Hey. This is Coach Wheeler, and today I wanted to do, instead of doing my tips and advice, which I normally do, I wanted to share with you my sort of reflections, my sort of personal, insightful look into me, myself, and I, and how I kind of got into being a life coach, and how I have the skills and the knowledge to help people with understanding the meaning of life. And even though I don't have the answers to what is the meaning of life, what does it all mean, and give you your ultimate reasons as to why, and what my purpose is and my passion, I wanted to share with you my story and how I kind of led to who I am today, and how I find some sort of solace and peace in the knowledge of what I consider my meaning for life, or, as I like to put it, to give my life meaning. And I think that's part of it. It's not necessarily the journey. It's not necessarily the destination, or even necessarily the journey. It's what you do along the journey, and who you share it with, and what you go for. And I kind of reflect back into myself and think to myself, kind of as a young guy, as a young man, growing up in a small family, and then that family breaking up through divorce and the trials and the tribulations we had, I still had an amazing surroundings. My sisters, my brother, my mum and dad, and that family unit, and then my Croatian family, my English family, and the experiences I had, and I have to say I was very lucky. But through my teenage years, I kind of started to have these questions and started to become a bit wayward. And, as a young man, sort of 15, 16, 17, kind of started to needed to find myself. And I didn't make some good choices, which led me to prison, which was kind of the first big punch in the face for me, the first big atomic bomb problem that I had to deal with. And it really woke me up. And when I went to prison, it slammed me back down to zero. I was ripped away from the comfort of normal life. And then you're kind of like, God, I'd do anything to be back with my dysfunctional family, I'll be back, anything to do back in my shitty little job, you kind of be happy for the minimal things, They say that, some people can sit there and have 1,000 wishes, and yet someone who's in a desperate situation, or someone's terminally ill or really sick, there's only one thing they wish for, and that's the comfort of life. And when I had my epiphany moments in prison, and I realised I needed to change. And through default, not by design, I'm not sitting here saying I was some prodigy that knew the meaning of life then. I just knew that I needed to make some changes. So I did make some change. And as the great saying says, the moment you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. So I just started to do that. And I didn't really know what, but I started to read loads of books. I felt I would try and find an answer in these books. And I think I was always trying to look for an answer. I look for some big epiphany moment, some big euphoric, the angels come down and there's a parting of the clouds, and God popped his beardy face out of clouds and said, gave me the answer to life. And that never happened. But what I discovered is that this internal belief in myself, that if I did things and changed things and went for things and embraced life, that I would find that answer. But what I discovered was, and as I said, the meaning to life was to give your life meaning. So what I did is, when I embraced those things, I knew that I couldn't waste my life in prison. I knew that I couldn't piss it up the fucking wall and just be a loser and a dropout and a bum from prison. I had to make those changes. So then I started to embrace my freedom, embrace that second chance, embrace that new life. And I never felt like I was starting from zero. I felt like I was starting afresh, but from a head start, because I already had that information. I knew what not to do. And that was a brilliant gift for me. And then all the things that I went through my life, divorce, bankruptcy, some of the suicides that happened in and around my life, some of the traumatic things that I had to get over, gave me more of a belief in myself. Because each time I got through those difficult moments, like coming out of prison and all those things. I mean, I've had businesses that I've lost. I had a house that I lost. I've had marriages that have ended, and I've come back and still gone on to great things, or what I consider great. And I feel like I have a very centered, happy life. It's still not done. There's still things I want to do and still things I want to achieve, and sometimes questions I have. But what I discovered was, in that journey, in those experiences, the harder they were, the better they were. Sometimes you can have something really shitty happen, and when you get through it, you think, man, we achieved that, even when all that shit happened and it all fucked up and crashed down. And do you know what I mean? It's like, wow, we still did it. It's almost better when everything goes really easy and it's smooth and you're gifted things and people help you out and you get a leg up and do this. You kind of think, well, yeah, it's pretty cool, but we had all that help. It was kind of easy. We couldn't fail. And it's almost like when the journey is so difficult that it wants you to fail and you succeed, it becomes better. And when you look back on that, you reflect on that, it makes life so amazing, you know. And I know that, you know, when I kind of, some of the suicides that happened close to my family, I remember how devastating they were. I had a small business and a family that were really, really kind to me, and they had a daughter who played the piano, and we had music in common, because I was doing my rap music at this time, writing songs, and she was writing songs, but music, you know, piano recitals. She was writing music from a piano, and I was like, and then she sang, and I was like, wow, how do you do that? And then she said to me, well, how do you write all these rhymes? And it was kind of like, we shared that moment, and sadly she took her life. But from that, it gave me that burning desire to want to help people. You know, when I came out of prison, it was kind of like through that tragic moment, or through that, you know, that tragic suicide, and then through my prison days, it kind of made me want to be the difference, wanted to be the change. And you can do that for yourself. You know, look inwards. You know, when we realize that life happens for us, not against us. You know, I needed to go to prison. I needed to learn those lessons. I needed that punch in the face. And sometimes you need those hard lessons to really wake you the fuck up, because sometimes we don't. And that's the beauty of life. And then other times, I remember I was talking to a friend of mine at one of these wakes from the funerals, and me and a couple of friends, a guy I went to school with, Carl Cuthbertson, and we were talking about it. And I said to him at the time, I don't know how, but I want to help people. And I don't know how, but I want to make a change. I don't know what I'm going to do, but I'm going to do something. And then I got into coaching, and I did some qualifications, and all my experience through life, and the hard study and the psychological things I had to learn, and the mindset practices, and all the different qualifications that I have that have led me to do what I do today. They were all backed up by the experience of life, by the rich tapestry of my journey of life, you know, and how that helped me see myself going through those difficult moments and surviving somehow and getting through it somehow, and then sometimes coming out the other side thinking, wow, it's actually better. It's actually, my life is even better. I've got a better job. I've got a better this. I've got a better that. You know, it's this, and this. And it's kind of like those successes kind of, you're almost just in disbelief. It's like, wow, even though that was really bad, I've still done pretty good. And it's kind of almost like if you have too much, to have it too easy, it never, you never get there. Do you know what I mean? Which kind of is a weird sort of paradox of life. But I wanted to share with you that, you know, the meaning of life is to give your life meaning and to fill it with as much as you can and to embrace it as much as you can. Now, that doesn't mean that you just do everything and run yourself ragged and have a stressed out life, but try to look at what you want, look at who you are, look at what you need, look at what's important to you, look at your family around you, things that you're good at, and ingratiate yourself with that, connect with that, and live that. And through those moments, those difficult times, you will discover so much about yourself, and you'll look back and think, wow, I got through that. I was talking to a friend at work, or a colleague at work, and his friend died, who he knew for over 30 years. And I knew this guy through work for about a year. And he was talking about how devastating it was. And I said, you know, but the beautiful thing is you have those memories, you have those 30 years of stories. And whenever he told me a story, it was always really funny. And you think, wow, man, you shared that, you know, like the same for me. It didn't mean anything to me, but it meant everything to him. And that's the beauty of his journey, of the meaning it's given to his life, of what he shared with his friend. You know, we're all going to die one day. I hope you know, it's not a big revelation, but it's kind of like, so you want to make the most of it while you can. And I remember talking to my friend about the song we did with Master Ace. And, you know, it might not mean anything to 99.9% of the universe, even more. But to me and him, it's like, wow, we did that. We created that. We made that moment. And it's so special. And every now and then I have a little chuckle to myself that I actually did that. It's like, wow, you did that. Something that you created. Now, if I was fearful before, I was scared to ask, and I didn't try, you know, if you don't try, the answer's always no. You only miss 100% of the shots you never take. You know, that was, I think, a quote by Wayne Gretzky. And it's like, you know, you just got to go for it and do it. And the more you do, the more you embrace, the better life becomes. And it's so rewarding and rewarding and enriching. You know, I can sit here at 50 years old and feel like I've had a blessed life, a great life. And yet there's loads of things that I could look back and think it was disastrous. I remember when I had an appendicitis and I went in for the operation, and it was quite close, and, you know, some of the poison leaked out, and I had to have, you know, different things. And I ended up staying in the hospital for 6 days because my system shut down. They had to put an intravenous in me, and they were talking about cutting open my chest and re-massaging my organs because they'd all shut down, my small intestine. And everyone was like, oh, you nearly died, you know, you lost 4 stone and this, that and the other. But I kind of remember in that time thinking, when I got out, it's just like, well, I've got another chance to keep going. You know, it wasn't my time. I didn't look at it as oh my God, I nearly died, and I didn't shit myself and lock myself down. I just kind of went out there and embraced even more. I wanted to try even more. I wanted to do even more. And even now at 50, I think there's still so much more I want to do. And who I was 10 years ago, you know, I'm proud of what I've achieved from back then, because back then I believed I could be what I am today. And even though I haven't done everything and there's still loads of things I want to do, another 10 years or another 5 years or whatever you plan ahead is like, I'm still aiming for more. So in that time, I'm aiming to look at the person in the future and think, I want to be that, to be better than I can today. And you don't have to be the most intelligent. I mean, I'm not that intelligent. I'm of average intelligence. I'm of average, you know, I'm an average normal guy with 2 arms, 2 legs. I'm with blessed health. I'm fairly healthy. I'm lucky to have all my faculties and half a brain to be able to go out and do those things. So it's with those tools and with that knowledge and with that insight and hopefully stories like this that can inspire you to go and live your life and embrace it and live it and love it and just smile every day and be thankful. So show gratitude, appreciate your loved ones around you, the people that help you in your life, the people that add a little bit of a smile to your life. Tell them you love them, remind them, say thank you for being in my life. And I remember when I talked to Carl, we went out for a drink a few months back and we talked about life, and it was a really enriching story for me to say I've done it. You know, that conversation I had about saying I don't know what I'm going to do, but I'm going to help people. I don't know how, but I'm going to make a change. I don't know what, and now I'm doing it as a coach, and it's like, wow, it's so amazing. And yeah, I really wanted to share that with you guys. So I hope there's something in there, some little tidbits, some little, maybe a spark of inspiration, something that registers with you and resonates with you, that you think, do you know what, yeah, that guy, that Coach Wheeler, mate, he's got something there, you know what I mean? And it gives you a passion to understand the meaning of your life is to give your life meaning, you know, and there is no ultimate question why. It's just like, why is important to you? Does your why mean something? And if you understand your why, then you can cope with almost any how. And that's a great Viktor Frankl, or is it a Freudian thing? I've heard it being associated with Friedrich Nietzsche, but I've also heard it being associated to Sigmund Freud. So I don't know, but anyway, it's a great little thing. You know, if man knows his reason why, he can cope with almost any how. And I hope that helps you guys in some sort of way. And even though it's not a tip and advice, and I have no recap, it was just I wanted to share a little part of me and my life and the things that I went through. You know, all those crazy moments and the good times as well. Let's not forget the good times, because they're just as important, and they bring us enriching experiences to fill our lives with good times. But the bad times can also make the good times even more rewarding. You know, there's no light without darkness, you know, as they say. So look, I hope that has some sort of meaning. I hope it's not been too long and boring and you've sat here listened, and if you have, I really appreciate your time. Please subscribe, like, tell a friend, as I normally do, and spread the word of Coach Wheeler. And if you want to talk, have some coaching sessions, please come and see me. I'm trying to expand my coaching business, so any help would be grateful. So you guys have a wonderful day. I'll see you on the other side. Much love. Peace.